Reka is all about witches of folklore and myth. Today, we take a look at what Reka brings to the survival game genre in its demo. Reka allows you to explore a world where witches were truly favored and cherished inside of villages and larger towns. They used to be, the sage mothers, the witch doctors, and so on and so forth, and the game pays homage to that situation. You start off as a young girl coming across a village, and you're considered to be a young witch.
The interesting thing is that the art style is definitely following like the Telltale's Walking Dead games, with the multiple choice one where you got to choose your own adventure. That art style, it's not quite cell art with Reka, but you could tell that it's made to look like a drawing of ancient myth. And I think what I love about that is they hammer it home. I would go as far to say that when you start, you don't really know much about your inner arcanic abilities. You're just a girl traveling to this town. And it's very Eastern European. And it's not going to spoil anything for anybody who's looking at the game and interested in it. This is all about the legend of Baba Yaga. And Baba Yaga is a really big mythological figurehead in Eastern Europe. The people themselves, though, when you run into them, they're like, oh, thank God you're here. You could tell that it's that classic historical division of where old magic gave way to new myth. And on the note of the graphics, it's definitely, I think, made to look like a moving painting. And it felt that way. And they did such a good job with it. I wasn't into it at first. But then 5 minutes later, I was like, this is really beautiful.
Yeah, and it's really cool because interacting with the townsfolk, you do get dialogue, and most of this dialogue is not voiced. That may change later, but it is actually good dialogue. It looks like it's actually handwritten, it's not generated, it doesn't look boring. Like somebody's actually writing the scripts for this stuff and giving you kind of a feeling that you're actually talking to a village person during this time period. Like a lady had me fetch a baby chicken because livestock was important to villages back then. And losing even a baby chicken was very big to them. So you run around the village, you look for it. And mind you, folks, this is one of the first quests. So I'm not really giving a lot away. But I enjoy the fact that you interact with the villagers on almost a more personal level. It kind of really sucks you into their plights.
Yeah, that's absolutely true because when you enter the town, you don't get that stereotypical Western medieval feel where it's like, I don't trust you. You're not from around here. It's very much like Nordic Eastern European, where it's almost an obligation that they provide you hospitality, which also means that they're not afraid to ask you for help. The first thing you do is you run into a guy who's trying to get into the town and his wagon broke. And he's like, oh, well, it seems like this wagon came off because of shoddy, cheap repairs. Can you help me find the wagon? The entire demo is actually the prelude to the game, or as a lot of us would recognize, the tutorial level. And it's really cool because even though a lot of the mechanics are go pick this up, go gather and drop, go do this, you don't really feel like you're doing a tutorial. You feel like you're doing quests, which was really well done. And very important for the part where you hear a villager complaining about some old crony in the woods who must be one of the last witches. She never caused the town problems, but the hut gives him the creeps. And then that kind of draws your attention. You don't get points of interest thrown in your face. The only way you get points of interest is by talking to the people and learning about the folklore yourself, as if you were here from a foreign land.
Yeah, and it's very nice that that is already part of the game. But what I enjoy also is that the magic is kind of more based upon ingredients and a little bit of brewing and bubbling kind of alchemy. It's not that you are always around a cauldron, but it does give you some incline that a lot of your stuff is going to be working around gathering ingredients for your spells or for your ceremonies or rites, etc., etc. And the game handles the particles or the graphics for these spells in a very interesting
Right
and
there.
yet beautiful way.
That's where the beauty of the game comes from. And it does this really cool psychological effect where the mundane world appears mundane. But as you're doing these rituals, and let me tell you, folks, these are rituals. Now, normally in Skyrim, you go to an enchanting table, you must have the toe of a giant, the eye of a newt, the heart of a daedra. Now your sword does fire damage. It's so much more than that. I have a lot of Wiccan friends. My wife is Wiccan. It's the ceremony of it all. It's a multi-step process. If you want to make magic work, you have to be sure that this is what you want to do. It comes at a cost. Of course, you don't know what that cost will be. But then while you're doing the ritual, you're waving a pine branch over several candles. You're like basically tracing shapes into the ground with your pathing. You're gathering different ingredients. You're putting them together, but it's not nonsensical. It all makes sense. It's very, it's kind of like how I had fun with the transmutation magic in some fantasy RPGs. That's when I was like, hell yes. Even if I'm not going to have to worry about disease or starving to death, I could tell from the get-go, and mind you, I haven't played the game. This is just my thought process and my inspiration. It gave mad Pacific Drive energies. Like, this isn't about your survival. This is about the survival of magic and your home. That's the big thing.
And we can't talk about Reka without talking about the big bird in the room, a chicken that you build your house on. And I'm not giving spoilers, folks. It's in the beginning images and trailers for this game. You are going around on a big chicken. And the way you learn how to get that big chicken in this demo, that's all I'm going to say about it. But it was a fun and interactive experience to do so. I honestly have to say, my first impressions of Reka were awesome. And I actually enjoyed playing the demo. I went and played it 2 more times just so I could find all the little nooks and crannies inside the demo to see what I was missing because it was fun. I did not have any boredom going back a second or third time.
Absolutely. And you know what? I think this is an important thing for all the viewers out there. Bethesda could learn a thing or two about building buildings from Reka. The way that the walls, the floors, the furniture, the way you built everything. And I know that's the sole premise behind this game, but gods, if survival games had this system in every game that had building, I would be in heaven because no one's hut is going to look the same. I have a feeling this is going to be one of those games where once it releases, you're going to see like 10-story tall huts with cranes, pulleys. It's going to get crazy, and I'm here for it. It's amazing.
Well, folks, this was our first impressions on Reka. Also, join me in thanking Yarla Goats for being here as my fellow co-host. He has a Twitch link down below and has a lot of fun playing chat versus streamer on his channel, and plays a lot of survival games too. Go over and give him hell. Also, don't join me in thanking Red Falcon, our producer. He is always in the background making sure everything runs on time and is making sure videos are uploaded weekly. Thank you very much for watching State of Survival. Ta-ta for now.
Bye-bye.